Hello friends, just a little video about the comics I picked up Saturday. I go to the shop every Saturday morning after the farmer's market visit and pick up some comic books, usually back issues, but today I picked up some new books, which is a rare occasion, so let's discuss them. First, before we get started, as you can see from the top of this screen, this video is brought to you by comicbookodyssey.substack.com. The link is in the description. Please go check it out. It's got the updates to all my comic book endeavors, such as this book I'm currently working on called Spirit Girl, The Giant-Sized Adventure, Part 1. And I'm in the inking process now. It's very exciting. I stream these drawing sessions every morning, early morning, 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, whatever that time is for you. If you're not in Australia, that's the evening, so that's convenient for you. So comicbookodyssey.substack.com. You can subscribe to my newsletter. You'll get the updates about my comic books and comic-related, whatever tidbits I come up with. And when this is finally completed, it will be published digitally there for free. And so if you're subscribed, you'll get it. Starting with Boom Studios, Blow Away. Zach Thompson, Nicola Izzo for the illustrations. I think this is the colorist here, Francesco Segala. I don't know any of these creators. I just thought this was a nice cover. Obviously, triangular composition, ice cracking, pointing to a figure on the horizon line, which is dead center. Always a good, composition choice. This line everything directing to this center point here, and I like the colors. And I opened it up. And it said this takes place on Baffin Island in Canada. And I'm a Canadian guy. My comic books are inspired by Canada. They're not about Canada or about Canadian characters, but they're inspired by such people and places. So I wanted to see, it was important to me to see the snow effect. I like to pick up books that have snow just to see how different artists portray snow and snowy landscapes. I like the idea of this book. I didn't particularly find the execution compelling for me. The concept is this lady here is funded essentially by CBC, fictional analog of CBC or something like that, to try to film these rare birds hatching. So in her process of filming, she sees a few things. So only a couple things happen in this book, which is part of the problem I found. First, a hunter sets up a bear trap, catches a bear, and she rescues the bear. And she follows the progress of these two ice climbers and discovers that once they reach the top, they start fighting, and we don't know what happens. So there's a lot of this sort of layout where it's just a lot of plainness with tiny little figures in it. I think the idea is to express, loneliness. She's in the far north, but I find that it's kind of results visually as looking as a little empty, and I just find that just not enough happens in this book. And we do have the hook here, which is while she's watching all these other people, there is a character that is watching her the whole time. through a sniper scope. I feel this could have been established a lot earlier on, and we could have had more of the story within the book for a cover price of $5, which I didn't pay attention. Usually my rule is I don't pay $5 for books. So I don't think I'll be picking up the rest of these. The thing is a comic book. This feels like the first 8 minutes of an episode of a TV show, whereas a comic book should be the whole episode, one chapter, right? It should number one should not be the intro. It should be the full first story of a series. That's how I felt about it. But you might feel differently. If you picked this up and you liked it, let me know how I was wrong. On to the next one. Trumps, number 1 and number 2 from Silverline Comics. They're a new publisher, or perhaps a old publisher from the 90s, as I understand it, that's been resurrected. The sensibility of the storytelling is, I would say, early Bronze Age. The characters are taken seriously, but perhaps the premises are a little wacky or goofy. And this is a very full, very dense story. The concept is it's based on the deck of cards. So there is a place that's called the deck. The world of this place is called the deck. That is the home of the 4 suits, the 4 kingdoms of power. So the clubs, the diamonds, the hearts, and the spades. And the time in this world is measured in hands. And every new hand follows every shuffle, where the trumps, that is to say the ruling power of this world, may change. So currently it's the diamonds who are in charge, but the next, but it's switching over to the clubs, who are quite more militaristic, whereas the diamonds are a kind of like a noble royal family thing. But there's a lot of like internal trouble. The Queen of Diamonds passes away. There's intrigue where the Jack of Diamonds, I believe, is in cahoots with the Queen of Spades. The Jokers factor in. They're a agent of chaos a little bit, a neutral faction. King of Hearts is an ineffectual king, whereas the Queen of Hearts has a lot of passion for her kingdom and is quite disappointed in the king. The main character that I enjoyed was this Jack of Hearts guy, who has a lot of passion for his nation of sort of the Hearts kingdom, and gets beaten back by the clubs, and his army doesn't back him up. Yet he vows that he will be coming back to exact like a sort of vengeance, but it's not a malicious or hateful thing. He just loves his kingdom, and he wants to protect it from incursion. Very, very dense. This is the opposite of this. If you want to make a criticism, is that there's just too much going on in this, and it's a little bit hard to keep track of. But if you just pay attention and you take your time, you get a lot out of these 2 books. And in the letters page in the back, I believe the editor, who I think is the writer here. No, so the writer, Roland Mann. He talks about how they've got all of the issues of Trumps completed, And they wanted to do that before publishing, which is, I think, an excellent idea, and quite bold. And tip of the hat. You can send an email, so that they'll receive fan email, and I will email them and send them this video. Artwork is like solid superhero, what you would expect and what you would like to see in a superhero book. It's everything is clear. There are no sequences where I didn't know what was going on. The camera angles vary. The backgrounds are all, there's no skimping. You don't feel, short shrifted. Character designs are likable. There's really nothing to complain about in this book other than, oh my God, there's too much going on. It's going too fast, which I think is an advantage. So thumbs up to this book. And Silverline Comics, something to keep an eye on. I know that my shop, I specifically ordered this through my shop, and they also got Kayless. And just on the strength of this offering here, I might go back and see if I can find that KLS book and just read it and see if it's good too. And maybe I'll follow both of these Silverline books. That's it for today. That's what I was wanting to talk about. Thanks for joining me. Once again, links in description for how you can support my comics. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye-bye.